Hello everybody, welcome back to MapleStory. So after my first 30 minutes, I played a lot more than 30 minutes. It's a very addictive game, MapleStory. It's a fresh take on MMOs, very casual. The combat isn't quite as in-depth as other games, but certainly the activities outside of regular dungeoning and
attacks on the tragically wealthy
and questing are super interesting and fun. One of those I want to talk about today is making music, and I'm going to go through a quick but also detailed guide of how you can make your own songs in MapleStory 2 and perform them to other players. And this isn't just for posterity. I mean, you can use this to level up. So it's actually a great kind of way to have fun, be creative, and make gains in-game, I suppose. Anyway, let's jump in. So as you play through the game, you'll be given free instruments. You get practice instruments as you do the music quests. The game does a good tutorial on how to play music, but it doesn't do a tutorial really on how to create super awesome custom tracks. And I've got a few here that I've kind of set up in the background. So basically you get instruments here. You got pianos, clarinets, harps, cellos, trumpets, ocarina, electric guitar, drums. But this is just a small snapshot of the actual instruments that are in game. There's a load more, and each has their own unique style and way of playing music. We're going to focus on piano today because it works best with most tracks that have a lot of chords in. And we're going to be doing a chord-heavy track. So the first thing we're going to do is look at a sheet. So we've got sheets here. This can hold up to 3,000 characters, the basic ones. These are about 10,000 mesos. At max level, you get about 300,000 mesos a day just by doing about 5 minutes worth of dailies, literally 5 minutes. So cash isn't too bad.
My business is redistributing wealth,
provided you can get to max level. But max level 60, but 50 plus, you get great cash. You also have sheets that can hold 5,000 characters, and sheets that have 10,000 characters. And I've got a couple of those that are quite difficult to play in real life, but hey, it's MapleStory, so you can play what you like. Now, we don't know how many notes we're going to need. We don't know what kind of sheets we're going to need for the track that we've picked, but I found a nice one. And we'll probably just assume that we're going to use 10,000 characters and then scale it down from there. So here we are. The first stop for us is musescore.com. It's a pretty sweet place that's compiled lots of MIDI music. You don't have to use this website. Basically, anywhere you can find MIDI music, you can use. But also you can create your own MIDI music if you're something of a MIDI genius. So if you're a budding composer, you can certainly create your own things to play within MapleStory 2. Anyway, we're boring and uncreative, so we're going to see if we can find something. And let's see if we search up Yogscast, what we find. Gay Activity? Okay, I remember that track. Diggy Hole, Piano Duet. There we go. And again, Gay Activity. There's only 4 tracks here. No Rubber Tree, unfortunately. It's a shame. I would have liked to have played that. Now, when you want to pick a MIDI, one thing to look at is the parts and the complexity of the music. If we look at Diggy Hole, 7 parts, it says cello, 4 strings, and 2 percussion. Now, as a one-man band, we're not going to have percussion, strings, and the rest of it. So we're going to try and see if we can find something that's purely one instrument. And if you look at the complexity of this, there's a lot of layers. There's not too many notes, so it would be quite easy to play. But let's give it a listen, see what it sounds like. Here we go. Okay, so after giving it a short listen, we can see, definitely pick out that there's a main melody, there is the background, basically, and the drums. So you could basically split this sheet up into 3 sheets, find 2 other friends, and play it as a band with 3 different instruments using the ensemble feature in MapleStory 2, but we're not going to worry about that because that's a bit more complex. We're going to see if we can find a better track, and immediately what jumps out to me is the piano duet. Now again, because you are in MapleStory and you're not in real life, you can play duets, you can even play impossible to play piano tracks on a piano in MapleStory, and there are some sheets that have been written like that. If I type in impossible, we have certainly some very interesting tracks, not for the faint of heart. Epic face-melting, impossible to play piano music. Annihilation, a new breed of face-melting piano pieces. This piece will vaporize your face faster than molten tungsten. Impossible, insane piano music. Man, and this is a work in progress, so let's have a quick listen. Okay. So immediately I can see there's so many notes on this bad boy, you're never gonna nail that. Never mind. Also, with a music piece that complicated, you're going to have so many notes that you're going to need more than 10 melodies. But melodies are something I'll talk about in a second, and why they're important. So anyway, that's what you can feasibly play within MapleStory. You can play any sheet music you can find, no matter how complicated, no matter how many parts, as long as you have enough friends to play it with you. So we're going to go back to Yogscast. Boom! Well, this is the only one that comes up now because we're searching for piano, but that's fine, because this is the one we were looking at anyway. So let's give it a listen. Sounds good so far. Let's skip ahead, see how complex it gets. Man, these are some big chords. Okay, I reckon we can nail this on piano. So what we're going to do is we're going to download this and load it in another program. We need the MIDI, so let's get it. Okay, so step 2, we need another program. We need something to open the MIDI in and convert it into a format that MapleStory 2 can read. Now we're getting a bit complex here, but you know, writing your own music should never be easy. But this is actually quite easy. So we're going to go, here we go. The settings that you have to follow here, somewhat important if you want to make sure you get a good track. So we go to File, Import Standard MIDI. Now you can see here I've got like a few MIDIs that I've tried out, tested in game, but we're going to go, for copyright reasons, Diggy Hole, the Yogscast piano cover. So sure, there we go. Open this up, and immediately you get options about how you want to arrange this. Now, there are a lot of ways to do this. You can just load up all the tracks like this. We've got 4 tracks, and we can compress this down, but I like to get a more detailed look. What this will do sometimes is it might skip chords or replace them with single notes to make it sound similar, but not quite as impressive. So instead of that, we're going to open these track by track. What we want to do is we want to set it to 132, roughly. I think you can go 164. The game doesn't support 128, but 132 is a safe place. I usually untick all of these, but I tick convert one MIDI track into multiple MMLs, and then you bring non-note events together in one track. So we select one track here, A, OK, boom. And it looks like we have 3 tracks from this. It's not too bad. Now, one important thing is, because one piece of music, one music sheet, has a maximum of 10 melodies, imagine melodies as tracks. So you want to import this again, do this for track 2, and you rinse repeat this until you count up all the tracks. And you need to make sure that you don't go over 10 in total. So 3 plus 4, we're now at 7. It's a bit worrying. 8, 9, but if the last MIDI track is only 1 track, we're safe. Okay, it's 2 tracks. Now, one way around this would be to just add the extra tracks when you go over 10 onto another piece of music sheet, and then you can just continue it, but you'll need another friend to play that music sheet with you and play it ensemble. However, one way around it is to not convert all of it into one track. Now, this will simplify the music. This will make it slightly different, but it shouldn't be so different that it'll ruin the piece. So let's give this a go. Starting from the first track, we're going to import again, Diggy Hole, track 1, convert that and separate. Now you have a whole bunch of numbers here, and if you've used MIDI editors before, if you know what you're doing here, then this might seem not as complicated as it does to me perhaps. But the first thing you want to do is select track, optimization option, and optimize all the tracks. This kind of brings them down into a more condensed format, makes it easier for you to get closer to your note goal in MapleStory 2. So we have a whole bunch of text here. The important thing to remember is T121, which is tempo. It's a 1-2-1 tempo. So we'll select all, and we'll copy. And now it's time to go back in game. Now, this is a 10-track piece, so I feel like we're going to open up the 10,000 character sheet and go from there. So when you open up the 10,000 character sheet, it looks the same as the 5 and the 3,000 character sheets. You have a whole bunch of melodies along the bottom here that you can add, but you can only add maximum of 10 different tracks. So the first one is melody, and we're just going to literally copy and paste that in. And here you go. It keeps track of your total notes, and we can go up to 10,000. So we're at 1949. Perfect. And now we literally just go back to the editor, and we copy and paste all of those tracks. So we add a new melody, paste. Now one thing to remember is the first melody has the tempo at the start. 1, 2, 1. The second one doesn't. So you're going to have to, with each of these tracks, make sure you set the tempo. T, 1, 2, 1. There we go. You can do this manually every time, or you can just wait until the end and copy and paste them into the rest of them. And I like to hold the up arrow key because it gets you to the top of the table quicker. Now, the program creates tracks sequentially, so as you add more tracks, they'll get simpler and simpler. This is like a lot simpler than the first melody, which has lots and lots of numbers and letters. This one just fills in the gaps and basically goes into the overflow. So imagine your music is like water, and you have each harmony as a cup, and you fill up as much water as you can in one cup, and then you overflow and you overflow. Now, feasibly, this harmony here, this track could hold more than we're putting in it. But for the time being, this is what we're doing. If you know how to work MIDIs, there's certainly a better way, more efficient way to get 10,000 characters as best as possible. But this is a very good start indeed. So that's the first 3 tracks, and now we do exactly the same thing with track 2, and then with track 4, we're only going to condense down. We're not going to convert one track into multiple. We're going to keep track 4 on its own. And paste. And you can see there's no more plus tab. This is it. This is the max. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tracks total. 1 melody, 9 harmonies. But look at this. We're at 8,991. So we're about 1,000 notes away from 10,000. That's really good. It's a good number. So let's go to melody. And we're also going to add another tag here. We're going to put the volume up. This is to make sure everyone can hear it. You don't have to go for volume 15, but the volumes range from 1 to 15. 10 is about the lowest you should go ever. 15 is deafeningly loud, but I want to make sure everybody hears me blasting out Diggy Diggy Hole. And we're going to drag a box over V15 T121, copy that, and literally just put that into every single track. Okay, there we go. That should be it. We're now at 9,057 characters. We're going to call it Diggy Hole. Cool Diggy Diggy Ho.
So don't worry about being fair.
There's a low character limit on the titles you can give these. And we're also going to say that this instrument is best for piano. Now, before we actually save this out, we can play it. See what it sounds like. Let's give it a go. Ah, yeah. Doesn't quite sound as good as the YouTube video or the actual track, but it's pretty close. Need some vocals, but don't think I'm gonna sing. Excellent. So the richness of the chords has been preserved by having this many tracks, and it seems like the fact that we had to condense the final track hasn't really impacted or affected this piece on the whole. Now, piano is an interesting sound, but the notes don't hang. What I like to do sometimes is test out harp as an instrument, because this kind of has a lingering note, a lingering kind of aspect to each of the notes. Oh, I dig it. It's a nice sound. But the one thing the harp doesn't do very well is chords. And definitely the piano version that we tried has better chords. But it's a shame because the harp is such a nice sound. Which is also why, if you can find a friend, you could cut this whole thing in two. Perhaps give the lower end, which is usually the lower tracks, to a guy with a piano, and have and those are mostly the chords. And have you play the harp and your friend play the piano, split this whole thing into two. You can even fit that on 2 5,000 note sheets instead of going for the 1 10,000. Okay, so I feel happy assigning this to a piano. We're going to compose the score. I've read the rules and made sure that this isn't copyright breach because I think we own the rights to Diggy Diggy Hole. I hope we do. We're done. Diggy Hole. Boom. So now you've got your piece. You can literally just click on your instrument here. Now, I said these are available through a variety of means in-game. There's mini-games. Maple Hill has some mini-games that will give you instruments like this piano that I have. There's also Halloween events that give you spooky drums, spooky electric guitars, and also some of the classical trumpets and stuff are available in the shop as well. Now, if you're going to play ensemble, basically you make a party, you click ensemble, you put your piece in here, let's say it's Death Waltz, and then you join ensemble. The leader will have a button that says play ensemble, but everybody else will have a join thing. You'll get a speech bubble above your screen that's blue when you click join, so the guy that's in charge can know everyone's clicked join, and you can all start together. And what that'll do is it'll play the piece that you have at the same time as the other guy plays the piece that they have. And if you've written the music correctly, you can create orchestra-style music with all your friends. It's a really cool experience, really fun to do. But we're just going to go solo. Diggy hole, there you go. So you just drag this here, you press start playing, and off you go. Now we have a fixed use limit here. We've got 10 remaining uses. So I'm not sure I want to start here, because that's a bit of a waste of a use. So what can you do with this music now that you've got it? You've got instruments, I've got music, but I don't want to stand in the middle of the street on a quest hub or something making music, because that's just loitering. That's busking, which people can't give you money. Well, I suppose they could donate, but why would they? No, what you want to do is you want to press the map. You want to go to Queenstown, which is where all the hip musicians hang out. Queenstown.
Hurry up!
We're going there, boys. We're going to the big stage, the big time. We're going to play Diggy Diggy Hole on the big stage. And we're going to get laughed off stage because it's not an anime track and it's not from a video game. And everybody hates it when they don't know the song. So here we are in Queenstown. There are instances or channels for the town, and as you can see, this one hasn't got very many people in, so we're going to see if we can find a busier one, see what's going on there. Now the cool thing about Queenstown is that you can hear the music that's played on stage throughout the whole zone. Oh yeah, look at these guys. Admiring this guy's fancy finger work. Now what you want to do, if you want to play music, you can see at the top you have this interesting UI. It says the performance ends in 9 minutes. So this guy's going to be playing for 9 minutes. As soon as he ends, what you want to do is you want to hit perform. It says at the moment performance reservations are unavailable at this time because this guy's on stage. But if you keep mashing perform and then enter, it'll get you on stage, lickety-split, as soon as he's finished. Or just watch him and wait until he's done. You've got to be careful though, because if you hammer it too much, you'll perform and then click stop performing at the same time, and you'll lose your spot, which is the last thing anybody wants. But we'll wait for this guy to be done, and then we'll bash out our Diggy Diggy hole. Okay, so we're up. When you're on stage, you get 10 minutes to perform, so you want to get your music out pretty quick. We've got our piano out, and let's see, we're looking for Diggy hole. So you drag this over, Diggy hole, and you start playing. And let's see how the crowd react to this. It's not much of a crowd. That guy's fishing. He's so bored. Man, tough crowd. Nobody knows it. Nobody knows it. Oh, this guy does. Well, there you go. We performed at Queenstown live on stage. One guy knew what the song was called, but it's really fun. I mean, you can go ahead, and as you can see, if you look into my inventory, there's a crazy amount of stuff we have in here. Like, there's some tracks. This is what happens when you play all of the music. It gets an X over it, but you can still double click on it. You can see what the harmony was. You can save the file, open up a new sheet, open the file, and you can recreate the same music. So the music isn't lost forever if you do use all of the uses. But try it out. I've got all kinds of things that I've mixed in here. We've got some Nia songs,
redistributing wealth.
Some Impossible tracks, more from Nia. We got You Are Number One, which is kind of like a trumpet kind of mix with even a drum part as well. We've also got Wet Hands from Minecraft. This is a classic. It's just really cool. It's a really cool game. I'm really kind of fallen deeply in love with MapleStory 2. It's a great place to hang out and chill, play music. And if you can find like-minded souls who also want to play music, and if you kind of au fait and want to dream big, you can make big orchestral pieces that span across multiple music sheets. Give all those sheets to your friends, have them play the right instruments, hit Queenstown with your friends and put on a big old show. Or even redesign your house to be like a stage and invite people from the public chat channels to come and watch you guys play. Well, I've been Sjin, this has been MapleStory 2, and if you like music and you like MMOs, give it a try. Until next time guys, take care.